let's begin with this figure of Tyrion of Norma Miraculous. It's a really good bust, really little to practice. Okay, so most of you have told me to do like this beginners video tutorial to see how to do glazes, how to do washes, the correct dissolution with this type of paints that are professional, and compare to the Vallejo or scale ones. This is really important matter for you to know how to dilute well the paint, and this is my way to show you the best way I figure out to show you this. Also, I will do a lot of mistakes here in these videos because it's the best way for you to know how to resolve them. You will do the same in your home, and this is a way to lose fears, because the enemy, the principal enemy we have painters is fear to get it wrong. Okay, if you know this, if you are like you know how to paint well, go to this minute to begin painting normally. Okay, it's time to prime. You prime with black, with special prime Vallejo black, and then it's really important to get out that prime painting and paint with normal paint, because the prime is a bit thick and you can go over the details. So better to do the zenithal light, get normal paint like this one. This golden, it's really good with airbrush and also with brush, and are professional paints. This Schminke one is is a very good paint, and it's cheaper than Vallejo. As you can see here, if you go in the price per millimeter, this Schminke is cheaper than Vallejo, and the quality is much better. When you make a stroke with the airbrush, it doesn't spread out with little dots in the dots like Vallejo. But in this case, we're going to do an experiment. We want these dots because I want to give texture to this bust, like little pointy textures. So here's a way to do it with airbrush. I explained this in many tutorials, like in the Indian ones, but in the Indian ones I didn't get the result. Here as well I didn't get the result. I'm experimenting, but I feel like you have to know this because it's a good tool to make textures in other surface. So you get this thickness, this one, okay. As you see, it has much water. Okay, it's really important to do this pointy texture. So we get the Tyrion, that's a dot for texture. We get the Tyrion there, and it's time to do the airbrush. So to do this, if you press, you get air. Okay. The thing is to get the trigger of the paint totally back without pressing the air, and slowly you press the air. As you see, you will get this type of stroke with the airbrush. You hear that? It's like a strange noise, and this is perfect to do texture. So we get the figure, the bust, and we give it in that perpendicular side. It's really a bit difficult to get the point, and you give it through all. You can see this is perfect, for example, for fabrics, and in the future for skins, I swear. I will figure out the solution. You keep going. And you have it done. This was an experiment that, as I said, it get wrong because I cover all these tiny dots, but it's really interesting for you to know. Okay, why we paint in black and white with this zenithal light? Well, it's a thing that when you paint here with a spray or airbrush, you get that light, that preliminary light. It's really important to see the volumetry, the shapes, and the shapes of the figure. It helps us for this. And also, it's really important the color that you paint above it. If it's not the same if you paint above black than above white. This is the theory of the light color. I don't know how to get the name, but I think this is a proper name. You have to play a lot with saturation. If you want a really illuminated skin or illuminated color, you have to paint first with white. You give a thin layer with white in the surface, in the area, and then over that you paint with skin. This is remember when we paint Warhammer, we painted with the sprites with black, and the figure was a lot dark than if we paint with white. So this is really important. Again, if you remember the tone I get with the red with the Indian, I always paint first with white. To paint red, always paint first with white, a stroke of white, because white absorbs a lot the color that's above and gives a lot of luminosity to the color, and it helps us to this purpose. It gives saturation to the color. It's not the same like painting with yellow, for example. Okay, and with this type of technique I have to paint, like the sketching technique, it's really interesting and important to do this well and to have it in your mind. The importance of how the color it's beneath affects the color is above. So with this white, you can sketch with a lot of whites, but this one golden is perfect, and Schminke is again perfect. It's really cheap and really good paint with a lot of saturations. You can see here again the list of prices, and you can now see that again the Schminke it's cheaper than Vallejo in scale, and also golden, of course. This is a pot like a thick pigment that's easier to do glazes. So we will begin with this sketching technique now, and I will show you the difference between Schminke and Vallejo. We will paint two sides of the face. It's really difficult to see in the video, but man, test this Schminke or golden paint. You will love it. It's not the same doing glazes with Vallejo or with scale. Okay, in all the videos, in the previous one, I said a drop of water per 2 drops of paint, or percent of water, 30% of water and 70% of paint. This is really difficult, I know. I didn't figure out another way to explain it. Well, yes, this one. Do a beginner's tutorial where I show you this type of dissolution. It's really important that you get an old brush like this one, and you begin doing the mix. Copy this type of movement that you are going to see in the palette, in your own palette. Okay, why we get this old brush? Because we don't want to get the paint in that metal part, because the hairs spread out. It gets old, the paint, the brush. So you get a dot, and you get in the side of the paint, you get like a little part of that paint. We don't put that drop in the top of the paint because we will need a lot more of water. So you get this, and this is the dissolution. This is one. You have to copy this. You can see the movement is like milk, more or less, the thickness of the milk. And if you need more paint, you get from the side. With more water. Okay, and this is the dissolution of a glaze. When I explain, I told to you a glaze is 30% of water and 30% of paint. This is, as you can see, with the same drop of water, Vallejo is is less thick, is much thinner, because it has the pigment, the paint is not so much thick, so you have to get a bit more of paint. This is the difference. This is the difference you can't see in the videos, because if you have this Vallejo or even scale, they have different thickness. So always get in the side. This is the dissolution. Try to copy at home. Try to get that dissolution, and to sketch, you have to get with the point of the brush in the middle of the brush, and now going to the metal part. It's really important, as important that than the thickness in the palette. It's really important that you control the paint you have in the hair, in the brush, the point of the brush. As you can see, I didn't let paint in the paper. I directly gave strokes. This is perfect. You have to get like a picture to copy. And why I didn't dry my brush in the paper, because we want to give really big strokes and really thick strokes to the for sketch. If you want glazes that you will see in the further stage, in the further steps in the video, it's really important to get out more or less all the paint that you have in the head of the brush, in the hairs. So for this purpose, you can point or you can give strokes, and you place it through all the face, the front head, in the point of the nose, in the lips. And this is with Schminke. The difference is brutal. The difference is maybe you can see it in the video. I'm now painting with Vallejo in that part of the front head, and it covers, Vallejo covers very little compared with Schminke or Golden. The eyeballs, that part of the nose, the side of the mouth. This side of the face is much thinner than the other one, because it doesn't have so much saturation. It gives like little important part here is that tiny circles that you have inside of the mouth, that normally they aren't sculpted. You have to get in mind that you have to maybe sometimes sculpt with paint. So I want to contrast a bit that side, that left side of the face, but step by step. We will do it in the future steps. So now it's time for shadows. You get black. In my opinion, the black is not so important because it's a very dark color, and it has a lot of saturation by itself. So you get Vallejo, and this it's time to talk a bit about the difference of dissolution depending of the color you have to use. Black, it needs more dissolution than white, because it's a color that stains a lot, as red, orange, and maybe green. So you place the shadows without being so careful, because this is sketching here and there. Always get, of course, the pick to an example pick to copy. Here again, the cheeks. A good trick to speed out is the dryer. Be careful with the resin. You have to give it a little hot because it will melt. Okay, this is the result, and now it's time to unify, to give a bit more of color to the skin. So you get the Vallejo skin tone, normal skin tone. We are going to test a lot of type of different paints. So you get the Vallejo, and you get the dissolution of a wash. This is the dissolution. As you see, it's different from the white one. You can see that the paint spreads differently than the white. It's more concentrated. The drops of the water does this. So we wanted to give all the face that skin looking, to unify a bit that shadows and to give color. So you get and you place it through all the face. Shadows, lights, doesn't matter. Get a bit more of skin and we place it. Try to avoid the eyes, the shadow of the eyes, but in all parts give the strokes. And the intention here is to, as I explained before, is to get that white, get that color, that intense of the skin. And the shadows, it's the opposite. It will give, the shadow will be a bit more light, and the white parts will be a bit more dark or with color. This is the intention. This is the important of the color that's below. A bit of dryer. Okay, this is with one layer. You can see the intention. We are going to give it another one, and this is with 2 layers. Now it's time to highlight a bit. You are still sketching, I'm still sketching, and you get again the dissolution of the glaze, and like this. This is again like milk, the thickness of the milk. Look how the strokes goes in the palette and copy it. Try to copy it in your own palette. Okay. And a good way to paint is the fingers have to be in the metal part. The better you hold your brush, the better you will got control of it. If you get the fingers in the upper part, in the black part of the brush, it will be very difficult. So we want to give there a bit more, a bit of highlight. So the way to do is to give strokes and lifting up the brush in the upper part, in the most exposed part of the light, because the drop of the paint would be more concentrated in the area where you lift up the brush. In the elbows, again, it needs more white. You give it. Trust this sketching technique. I know it's strange, but trust it. You will see now the results. In the cheeks, in the upper part of the cheeks, again, remember that we are painting highlights in the inferior part than in the previous one. You have to interpret all the volumes of the figure, because it's not the same putting this in the light than placing your own light. So we want there in that part a light. So where do you have to lift up the brush? In the side of the nose. So you begin there, and you, as you see, you lift up the brush where you want to be more painted, more saturation of paint. The same here, and in the sides, the wrinkles. This is the result with Schminke. Let's go with Vallejo. This is a correct dissolution to the glazes, and we go to the other side with the eyeball. We did it, and here we have this type of half moon line that you have to get in mind that nearly all the faces have. In the figure it's really little, so it's in the sculpt. You have again to sculpt with paint. In the upper part of the nose, in the side of the nose, again, really important to frame the figure. You have to frame all these details, all these wrinkles that when you place paint above it, you all the sculpt, you like you cover all the sculpt. So you have to paint that thin lines with dark colors to do the wrinkles. I see here in a live. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's really easy. It's easier to work with Schminke or Golden than with Vallejo. So it's time to pop up a bit the shadows. You get again the black and you place it in all the parts. The difference is that now you have color in the figure, and the shadows is you have it's a bit in the smaller part than in the previous shadow. And you place it, sketching again here and there, and now you have the face sketched with shadows, with tone of skin and with white. This is the same that people in fine arts do. They always sketch first and then give colors, place the nose, place all per face, sketch. Here on the lips. An important part that I see that it forgets, people forget, it's the inferior part of the nose, that part. You have to frame it in the whole of the nose, and you can lift up the nose in any angle you want. This Tyrion figure, this Tyrion actor, has a bit, the angle is a bit up. And here another important thing, the wrinkles. The wrinkles of the side of the nose. Really important to frame that detail. So you get and you do a thin line, okay, to frame that side of the nose, that wrinkle. Yeah. Again, get reference pic. Try to copy real faces. Go through part. Go to the nose. Do all the wrinkles, all the shadows, all the lights of the nose. When you have it perfect, go through all the parts to other parts, like that part of the nose. Another important thing that it's really important, the side of the nose. Give that shadow. It's more dark in the upper part of the nose, in the side of the eyes. As you can see in the pic, is in the eyes and in the nose, does like that half moon. It's easy. You have to try to copy real life in that part, in that expression wrinkles. The more wrinkles you give, the more old looking the actor or the bust has. Don't worry, this is sketching. We will cover this if needed. So you keep on with the light, with the shadows. And now the figure needs tones because the skin is really dead. So you get this really pretty color, beautiful color, that's red leather. And again 50-50. This is washes. When I say washes, it's always 50-50 to unify or to give tones. You can see here the dissolution is really diluted, much more than the glaze, and this is a really good sample to see the differences. Left glazes, right washes, and black is not so diluted than a wash. So you place it through all the face. This will provide the face little stains like in real faces, and little tones here and there with color. Get the dryer And this is the result. It's much alive. You can see there that ugly step with black, but focus on this and remember this. We will eliminate it, we will integrate it with Airbrush. So you continue doing with the tone, you continue giving the tone. And remember that faces have a lot of tones, have bluish tones, reddish, orange, and also green. We have green in the beard. Most of men and also women have a bit of blue, of green, bluish green in the part of the inferior part of the face, in the jaw. So to represent this, you get the color. And first, I have to explain you again the difference between the dissolution of the color, the properties of the color. As I told you, black, red, orange, and green, also green. You have to give. It needs more dissolution than other other colors, because it stains a lot. So to do the wash, to do a wash, get this dissolution and place it through all the beard. Okay. Look at that. Oh, I get wrong. Don't worry. You get water and you spread out the paint with a bit more of red tone and you spread out. As you can see, it's really easy to fix it. Okay, this is the result. A bit more of green. Continue with the green, and the face is little by little getting that real looking. Don't worry about the steps, about the big steps of shadows and highlights. And now it's time to give more tones, reddish tones. I love to give reddish tones. So you get this professional red tone, golden, and this scale one that I love it when I didn't know the golden. This scale 75 is a very good tone with a bit of yellow, I have to tell you. So now we are going to look the difference between them. Again, you get a drop of water, and you get the paint in the side of the paint, a little part of the paint. Okay, this one is a good dissolution, and with the scale, again, the same. This is, we are going to give washes to give reddish tones. Okay, like this. So you get it and you place it in the nose, the side of the nose. Be aggressive. Don't lose fears with this. This is to motivate yourself. In the elbows, in the eyelids, in the cheeks. Be aggressive. Be aggressive, man. Remember to get the scale to prove it, to test it. Part. The wrinkles, the lips. Now you have these tones done, but the figures has a lack of contrast. So you have to give again glazes, highlight with glazes, and the thing here is again sketching. Again, trust this. Look at the result and trust it. It's a quicker way to do it. We are going a step forward in rapidness, in quick in time, than if you give normal glazes with, in this case, with a tone of a lighter tone of skin. So you continue doing the highlights like in the previous stages, but now you have all the skin with the tones. This, with 3 or 4 steps, you have it done, and then we will unify with Airbrush. Remember the importance of the white. There I give a bit more stroke than necessary, so you get, to fix it, you get water, and quickly you rub and place the dot wherever you want. Okay, like this. Get a bit more of white and place it dotting to cover that side of that error, that mistake. Continue. the side of the nose. I get again a bit wrong with the thickness of the wrinkles, but now it's time to solution it. The elbows. I know where it goes, all the lights and the shadows, because I painted a lot of busts and faces, but it's easier for you to get a reference pic like this one. Remember that half moon light that goes in through the eye, the other part. And now you can see it's much alive, with the tones, with the green, with the red, with the brownish. Remember that. Oh, I get there. Oh, the finger is the best tool. So we have this strange thing going on with a lot of tones and whites and black, and now it's time to get it pretty, to get it beautiful, and to get it all unified. It's time to get the airbrush. It's time to get the airbrush. So you finish doing that highlight, that sketching, and now get the airbrush. I use this. This is for cleaning the house, the glass, and you place this amount of water, and then you place the paint. It's a bit diluted. You have to give thin glazes, thin strokes. Let the stroke to dry, and then give another stroke. Dry stroke, dry stroke. You have to avoid washing all the figure and giving drops here and there. It's like 50% of water and 50% of paint. This is the dissolution, like milk, almost like milk. So let's go on. First, you have to test it. Okay, to use the airbrush, you have to give it like in 20 centimeters, and going as you see is stroke. I let it dry. Stroke, let it dry. Okay, we dry with the air, and you give it through all parts, and slowly we are unifying all that steps, all the big steps. We give it in the sketching. You can see little by little the black is going less black. Yeah, I need more skin. Place a bit more of thickness in the paint, and again give the strokes. And you can see here the properties of the white. The white is getting a bit less white and more like a skinny looking. Also the black is losing that intense, and this will provide you can see the work we did before with all the greens, all the reds, all the whites, and all the blacks. As you see now, the black of the cheeks is getting lighter. This is the best way to unify and the quickest way to unify. Okay, you can see here the result. We will get again a bit of black to do the cheeks well and to give shadows, but continue doing it. Okay, you dry it with the air. Now, as you can see, it's all integrated. Now we will give a stroke only in the part of the cheek, in the shadow of the cheek, as you can see. And look at the importance of the color that's below. The black still is black. Still, you can see there the shadow. It's really difficult to cover all that area when you have dark, when you have a shadow there. So we need a bit of black and red to place the shadows again, because we lose all the shadows with this unification, and it's really easy. So you get black and red in the mix, red there in the mix. and we will place, you prove it, you test it, and we will place little dots here and there, like in the cheeks. Like that. Remember, we want this side of the face a bit darker than the other one. Yeah, you give strokes below the figure, and now you can see the effect. Now you can see that the figure, it's having a lot more of contrast, and in a few stages we did this in like half an hour. So you give another stroke beneath. Remember, that side we want it a bit more dark, so you give a thin layer like that. As you can see now, it's a bit more darker. Dry it up and continue. Look at this cheek, how integrated is it? You can see that. We can do this with normal brush, with paint, but man, you imagine the hours, how much hours we spent doing this. Important thing, don't get the figure with your hands, with your fingers. What a professor, what a teacher. So this is the result. You can see all integrated, a bit more of shadows. And now, look at it. It's all integrated. It's all in the shadows and the lights. You have contrast, and this is what we want. It has a lack of highlights that it's going to do now, but we did this in half an hour. You can do it, man. Test it in home. Next thing is highlights.